In the vast expanse of wild space, where ships sailed amidst swirling currents of the phlogiston, the Star Dancer glided gracefully, its elven crew harmoniously navigating the swirling seas, with tranquility shattered, when an aesthetic, a living vessel adorned with swirling patterns of bioluminescent hues, descended upon them. The aesthetic was no ordinary spelljammer. It possessed living, acidic tentacles that lashed out with deadly precision, tearing through the Star Dancer's hull with ease. What's more, it emits a piercing jammer scream, disrupting the elven vessel's spelljamming helm. Caught off guard by this living assault, the crew of the Star Dancers scrambled to regain control of their ship, but the Enigma was relentless, its tentacles dancing through the void with eerie grace, while its jammer scream continued to wreak havoc on the Star Dancer's systems. Despite their valiant efforts, the crew of the Star Dancer found themselves overwhelmed. With no other choice, they reluctantly initiated an emergency retreat, their once serene journey now marred by the chaos of battle. As the Star Dancer fled, using its backup minor helm, the aesthetic bellowed triumphantly, its victory assured. Though the Star Dancer escaped with its crew intact, the encounter left scars, both physical and psychological, serving as a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked amidst the stars. So today's video is on the aesthetic. First, let's talk about what Boo tells you. So aesthetics are a biological creation of the Rhaegar. Aesthetics are an organic ship which have only the slightest awareness with an intelligence of 1. Rhaegar are said to use their aesthetics as spelljamming warships. The aesthetics use magical vibrations to disable opposing spelljammer helms. This allows the aesthetic to use its tentacles to grapple the opposing ship's crewmates and dissolve their flesh with an acid from their tentacles. Every aesthetic is unique in appearance, such as being bilaterally symmetrical like a human, or radially symmetrical like a sea urchin, or having no definable shape. From a distance, aesthetics can be mistaken for giant cephalopods or space jellyfish. Aesthetic bodies are made up of a kind of bioluminescent resin. An aesthetic can house its Rhaegar as well as 6 other medium-sized humanoids. Provided its creator Rhaegar is alive, aesthetics can live indefinitely. However, if the aesthetic's Rhaegar dies, the aesthetic sickens and perishes in D12 days. Stats-wise, aesthetics are impressive CR12, with impressive combat abilities such as 2 tentacle attacks per turn, which can then grapple creatures it hits, and as established before, deal poison damage to them. The ability to interrupt spelljamming helms is given a name. It's called Jammer Scream, which, depending on the charisma save of the pilot, is dealt psychic damage and disables the spelljamming helm for between 2d10 minutes and 2d10 days. Next, let's talk about what the boot doesn't tell you. So, aesthetics were crewed by a single Rhaegar and golems called Helots and a warrior race called Lakshu. Although the arcane deny it, those few who have seen an aesthetic insist that an arcane is always part of the crew. In 2e lore, back when wild space system could be accessed through the phlogiston, aesthetics were unable to traverse the phlogiston. This raises the question as to how aesthetics and Rhaegar were able to exist in different wild space systems. It's said that there were these giant ornate bases which transport Rhaegar and aesthetics through the phlogiston. It's unclear if aesthetics can pass from wild space into the Astral Sea, however. Aesthetics do not need an energy input to function, and they produce no waste. It's unclear how they are produced or if they reproduce, but there are 2 main theories as to how the aesthetics power themselves. Firstly, they make energy from photosynthesis like a plant, and another says that they're able to absorb nutrients from the atmosphere around them. According to 2e lore, aesthetics were the fastest vessels in known space. If the Rhaegar is off-ship for long periods, the aesthetic operates according to a set of instructions given to it by its creator. Normal instructions include things like, don't let in any strangers, and stay within 100 yards of this dock. Currently, aesthetics have a blind sight of 300 feet, but in 2e, aesthetics had a blind sight out to 100 million miles. Current lore says that aesthetic Jammer Scream has a range of 300 feet, but in 2e lore, it had a range of 7,500 feet. In 2nd edition, aesthetics had a telepathic link to their creator Rhaegar, as long as they were in the same crystal sphere, as well as gaining its creator's mental saving throws, a feature missing in the 5e version. So in conclusion, aesthetics are creatures by technicality. Their life relies entirely on the Rhaegar, and they're functionally a spelljammer ship. The Jammer Scream is a flavorful ability, but I would like more of these psionically themed abilities. At least give it telepathy like in 2e, or maybe a cantrip like Mind Sliver so it can attack from range. I really don't know how I feel about this creature. It's gorgeous, just look at the art, and has flavorful abilities, but being able to live through symbiosis alone makes it inflexible. As an encounter in the Astral Sea or wild space, it's great, but you could potentially end a campaign if it has a ticking clock. Like if a Jammer Scream disables a spelljamming helm for 20 days, you can essentially just give the big bad evil guy the win. I'm so on this creature. 12 out of 20.